Hi, everyone. My name is Angela, and welcome to this session today. I'm very excited to be here with you all. As Jen mentioned, we've got quite a bit of interactivity built into this session today. So I genuinely hope that you enjoy it and you find it beneficial. And I really look forward to working with you today. So again, welcome. I hope you're all having a great day. We are going to kick off with a quick poll. We really want to get everyone integrated into the technology and using it in such a way that they feel engaged. And so Jen is going to quickly here post the poll up, and this is just a quick check-in. Let us know how you're doing. This is a great response rate. Thank you to those of you that are joining in and participating. We've already got 80% response rate out of nearly 90 of you. Welcome. For those of you just joining, we're just getting kicked off here. Quickly, just reply to that poll that you see in the window with regard to how you're doing today. We'd love to hear from you. We'll give it about 5 more seconds and we'll close the poll right about now. Thank you so much. So it looks like we've got a pretty happy, fantastic group on on this front, so that's exciting. And then there's a few that are also just so, maybe not so good, and there might be some sadness out there as well. And that's all part of our days. And so again, I just want to extend a welcome to you. Thank you for being here and for joining us. And I hope that today provides you either an extension of the good that you're feeling, and if you're in a place that's not so good, maybe we can hopefully shift that just a little bit for you today. And if we do that, I think that's a big win. So again, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I am here today to talk to you all about resilience. I want to touch base on how I come to this particular topic. And before I do that, I forgot to mention, if we all could just really quickly click on your video. As Jen said, you've got that option. So go ahead and share your video. If you're not sharing your video, you have a red line through the video camera icon on your screen. So share your video. There's Brianne. I see people populating. Hey, Brianne. Let's do that real quick. I'm trying to see how many folks I've got up. There we go. I've got a handful. Perfect. And do me a favor. Give a big smile and just wave to all your colleagues. It's really nice to see all of you today. I hope that you can kind of also, again, just gain some energy from those hellos. All right, thank you so much. Go ahead and kill your cameras if you'd like. I understand we're all in different environments. And if you're more or less comfortable, I'm completely open to you having the screen on, but it's entirely your call for today. All right. So again, as Jen mentioned, and Jen, thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Angela Chiarenza, and I'm so excited to be with you today. My intention for today is to make our time together interactive and engaging, and I need each of you to make the most out of our time together. So let's get right to it. We're going to be using, as Jen mentioned, a variety of different tools that exist in Zoom in order to hopefully, like I said, make this very interactive. I'm actually not going to do a ton of talking. I'd love to hear from you all and give you the opportunity to hear from each other and learn. So we'll use features such as chat, polling, which you've already done, whiteboards and annotations, which can potentially be new for some of you. We're also going to talk and utilize the breakout session, which might sound complicated, but it's not, because we have a great team in the form of Brianne, Lamont, as well as Jen that are in the background making this all look seamless. So I, at this point, also want to extend gratitude to them. And then last but certainly not least, if you have a pen and paper close by, grab that. If you prefer, excuse me, to take notes digitally on your laptop, your iPad, or however it is that you're joining, then feel free to use that as well. That's just fine. So this next exercise is our group blackboard. So what we're going to do is, I'd love to, for you, if you will, take a moment and think about what image comes to mind for you when you hear the word resilience. Okay, so we're going to use this virtual blackboard and share that image using the annotation tool. Jen, let me turn it over for you to for just a second to explain that annotation tool for the crowd.
Hi, everyone. If you are on a laptop or a desktop and you're using the web-based Zoom, at the top of your screen, you should see a green box that says, "You are viewing Angela's screen." Next to that, there's a black box that says View Options. Click on the down arrow next to View Options, and you should see Annotate. Click on Annotate, and you will see a variety of ways: text, draw, stamp, arrow, etc. Now, if you're on an iPad or on a mobile device, this may show up in the lower left-hand screen of your tablet or mobile device, and you may see a pencil and a circle, and it says Angela's screen. Just click or touch that icon, and you will see the same options to write on the screen.
Thanks so much, Jen. So go ahead, please, contribute to the Blackboard that you see up in front of there. There we go. I have ancient trees. I have folks trying out the pen feature. Well done. Way to jump in. Children. A wall that won't ever come down. Adaptability. Strong mountain. There we go. Oh, it looks like, I love what someone put in the Blackboard image, you will, is kind of a chart going up. I'm trying to read the pink. Oh my goodness, an arm in muscle stance, adaptability, bounce back. Rubber band is popular. Climbing up a hill that never ends. Mandela. Renee, bounce. I see a heart as well for love. Thank you so much for the participation. This is great. I really do appreciate it. The energy is excellent. Ability to adapt and overcome, holding on to an umbrella. I would imagine in the rain, but I lost some of it. Stamina, oh, grit. Getting a few more. I would call it perseverance, the folks that are actually trying to use their mouse to write something. I think that's incredible. Very good. Lisa Stokes, I saw your arrow there. Thanks for contributing that. That's helpful too. Stars and hearts, very cool. And again, thank you all for participating. I really appreciate it. Jen, thanks for the tutorial. That's really helpful. And thank you all for putting that all into this Blackboard. It's a lot of fun just to start to play and engage. All right. And then Jen, if you don't mind, I'd love if we get a screenshot of that just so we have it for record. I think that's cool. I also see insightful, strong, continuing to move forward no matter what. Weebles, that's a great image. Come back, excellent. Thank you everyone for contributing. And Jen, when you have a moment, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and clear the annotations as we move on to the next slide. And then Jen, we're actually gonna do one more Blackboard. So now that we're all super skilled in this, let's distribute our comments all over the board this time. And I'm gonna ask you, oh, yes, what are you grateful for? And we've already got hard work up there. And so let's fill this board with all the things that you're grateful for. What brings you joy? What are you thankful for? Family, hard work, life, health, time at home, pets. Lily Lou, I love that name. Life, family, excellent. The ability to walk, health and relationships, my dog, life, faith, having a job, still able to work. This is heartwarming. Thank you all. Life, love, good health, God, family, health and relationships, excellent. There's a lot of really neat parallels that I'm seeing in these lists. Health, faith, love, job, family, abundance of oxygen, cat, employment. All right, very good. Thanks so much. And Jen, I'm going to ask you for one last clear here. And also, just a friendly reminder, gratitude can shift our mood. And so I encourage you to carry this gratitude with you throughout the day. I hope that it's helped to kind of elevate your spirits in some way. Just knowing how much gratitude there is in the world, not just in what you hold in your heart, but also what you see there in front of you on that Blackboard. All right. And so Jen's going to go ahead and clear that Blackboard. We're going to move on to the next slide. And I'd love to just briefly provide you with, like I said, the context of how I come to resilience today with you all. As a career, I started out as a career loosely. I was a Division I rower in college, and I loved sports and athletics. I always have. And then following college, I had the opportunity to coach Division I rowing for several years. Over the course of my career as an athlete and as a coach, I became really interested in resilience as well as team dynamics. And so I continued to study that. While I was coaching, I also pursued my master's degree in leadership studies and focused a lot of my coursework on team dynamics. And I really wanted to understand what made teams click. Following that, I took a role with a leadership development firm where I became further interested in the impact of coaching. And I mean that in the truest sense of the word, from a variety of different angles, both coaching internally in organizations as well as athletic coaching. I saw so many parallels between what I was doing when I was training athletes and what we were doing and trying to facilitate the process of learning and development with the folks that we interacted with. Following that experience, I was responsible for learning and development for a science and technology firm in the DC metro area. Along with that, I've also been trained through the Human Performance Institute, which is a really interesting organization that has studied Olympic athletes to understand more about how they build resilience. They've then taken that content and those concepts and all of the things that they've learned around that topic and applied it to various different populations in order to reap the benefits from what they've learned from elite and Olympic athletes. And of course, just like the rest of you, the picture on the left, that final picture, life experience. You each bring unique experiences, and I think that's something that's so valuable for us to share with each other. And so, as I said before, that's really my intention for today, is to share ideally good energy to continue this process of building resilience and making today a little bit better than yesterday if we can. So thanks again for joining. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was in a coaching session recently, and I was extremely fortunate to have a coach working with me who got me to think about resilience and think about the imagery that I tie to it. And the image that immediately came to mind for me was bamboo that's actually growing outside my home. In the winter, particularly when it snows heavily, and I'm just going to own real quick, the trash truck is driving by my home right now, so I apologize for any background noise that you might hear. Timing is everything, right? But so this bamboo that still grows alongside my house, when it snows and when it's a heavy kind of wet snow, the bamboo actually starts to fold and bend down. Normally it stands strong and it's just straight up to the sky is what it feels like. But when it snows and it's a heavy wet snow, it starts to bend and it actually goes all the way down to the ground. And when I first saw that after living in our house, I was actually quite sad because I thought the bamboo was so beautiful and I was concerned that we'd lost it. And then the next day the sun came out and the snow started to melt off the leaves. And the next thing I know, the bamboo was back straight up in the air, grabbing as much sunshine as it could to continue its own growth. And for me, that was a really strong tactile image of what resilience is that we bend and we flex, and sometimes we get knocked down and we come right back up again, and hopefully continue to grow. So that's where I come from. So thanks for listening to that story. Next, we're going to go into another activity, and what I'd love for you to do, again, we're using the tools in Zoom to give you an opportunity to jump into the conversation and tell me where you would place yourself on this line, on this continuum that you see in front of you with regard to your level of resilience right now. To what extent are you able to bounce back from things that are tough? Go ahead and use the stamp feature if you don't mind. There we go. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Very good. Well done. Checks up and down the continuum as well as north and south of it. So thank you so much. And then we've also got a handful of folks not feeling so resilient all the time, and that's okay too. Let's use each other as a community of resources to learn today. Very good. Thanks so much, everybody. All right, now I'm going to ask, Jen, great job. And again, I want to give kudos to the team that is working on everything behind the scenes here. They're doing a great job. Jen, Bree, Ann, and Lamont are excellent colleagues to partner with, and they're the ones that are making everything look so smoothly on this end. I'm simply clicking a button to advance the slides, so thanks to each of them. And so it's just a few people, if you don't mind, share and use, you can either raise your hand. It seems like the technology is quite comfortable for many of you, but enter into the conversation. So you can pull yourself off of mute and enter the conversation with which quote resonated with you. If something struck a chord in you, we'd love to hear from you and love to hear how that impacted you today.
This is Lisa. The one that
Hi, Lisa.
most resonates with me, the portions I captured, oh, there they are, is the third one, accepting my new reality, even if it's less good. I just ordered a wall sticker with the serenity prayer. Yeah, that one really resonates with me.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing, Lisa.
Hello, this is Sean. The grief
Hi, Sean.
the Michelle Obama quote, "The grief and resilience live together." It resonates with me because it's brief and profound at the same time, and it's something that I think would be easily accessible and easily shared. It was easily accessible by me, but easily shared with others if I try to encourage them.
Very nice. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate your contribution. Oh, great idea. Folks are placing stamps by the quotes that resonated for them. What about the last quote? We've got quite a few putting check marks by the last quote. Would love to hear from someone there.
Hi, this is Ebony.
Thanks, Ebony. Hi.
How are you? The last quote resonates most with me because it looks like it defines a lot of things that occurred in my life. And I feel like in the difficulty, I do become stronger, wiser, and more able.
Very nice. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right, let's take one more voice from the crowd. We have, gosh, I think nearly 100 participants, and so we'd love to hear from one or two more of you. We'll take one more with regard to a quote that really struck a chord with you, and just say a little bit about it for us.
Can I say something? Can I offer something? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I absolutely love the statement. It's not just bouncing back, but resiliency is the capacity to remain flexible and to emerge from difficulty stronger, wiser, and able. Because I have the incredible privilege to serve the American people in a federal space. And what I have seen is that I've actually had the incredible privilege of seeing brave, resilient federal managers pivot and come up with incredible innovative technology, incredible innovations to keep work flowing, to keep the process going. And I myself have been working incredibly hard and producing, which I didn't think I could do. So it's like what I once was reading about somebody who worked with children who had survived abusive situations and yet emerge from that without hate and without bitterness and without being antisocial. And he talked about being strong in the broken places. And I think that as trying as this has been, this actually may be, I'm seeing it as being a crucible for amazing management. And I've been so humbled and so privileged, and I feel so proud of the people I've worked with.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's incredible. It sounds like you work with a really great group of human beings. So I'm glad you have that community. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Again, really appreciate the participation. We're going to continue to roll through here. The next piece of content, and I gave Jen no warning. That's all my fault. Jen's going to erase that blackboard in the background. I love the stars and hearts and arrows and check marks, so it really lights up the screen. It's a lot of fun to have you all contributing. So again, thank you very much. So just a couple of quick content pieces that I wanted to run through. Probably not new to many of you. We've probably all likely seen a lot of this over the course of our careers, our exposure to different industries, as well as sports, as an example. The concept of this chart is really about how you build resilience. And so stress and recovery, are key. Stress is really about the spending of energy. energy out, if you will, above and beyond your current capacity. So where you see that line running through the middle of the chart, that's current capacity, if you will. Stress is really about extending above that level. It's easy to think of this in a physical context, and it also applies to both several different contexts. So not just physical, but also mental, emotional, spiritual. So thinking through all of these different contexts around how we build resilience can really help improve our day-to-day. Equally important, and something I really want to make sure we stress, no pun intended, is recovery. And that's really about where growth occurs. So again, a pretty easy translation of this is thinking about an athlete. They can only get stronger by integrating periods of rest and recovery. So as an example, if they're lifting a weight, so they're doing a bicep curl, they're going to need to rest, put the weights down in order to recover, and then be able to have the strength to build additional muscle and increase their strength or resilience, if you will. In the mental context, as another example, someone learning to play an instrument for the first time is a great way or a great example to illustrate stress in the mental context. And then when we expand this chart out, the idea is really that stress and recovery exist on a continuum over time. So as you continue to expend energy above your current capacity, then you need to make sure to recover, taking energy in order to continue to grow. Integrating stress and recovery practices into your routine is essential for increased strength as well as resilience. And again, thinking about the different dimensions, not just the physical, but also the mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions that exist. Quick image. Sometimes images are far more helpful than kind of a chart, and so I wanted to use this as another example. So on the right, you have a set of trees. Learning a new trail in the woods might cause stress from a mental and a physical standpoint as you're out walking or hiking or climbing. And it also might provide recovery in the spiritual sense. So it might be a place that touches your heart or brings you peace with the fresh air, something to that nature. And then again, sticking with the example that we've been using today, a workout in the gym might be stressful in the physical dimension and at the same time, recovery in the mental dimension. Oftentimes we hear runners that go out and will push themselves to an extended degree in order to push themselves physically, but also for kind of a mental release. Very good. All right. We are now going to move into a reflection. So if you would, go ahead and grab that pen and paper out. We won't leave you there very long, just about 60 seconds. Would love for you each to take an opportunity to reflect. So grab that pen and paper and just quickly write down a few notes about a time when you were resilient. What do you remember? And I'll have a timer going in the background. I will give you about 30 seconds notice when we will come back. Go ahead. Very good. All right. Thank you. Really appreciate you taking part in that activity. And we are now going to move into a breakout. So we're going to give you an opportunity to engage with some of your colleagues. We have nearly 100 of you on the line today, and the team is going to send you to your respective breakout rooms now to answer the following question. Share your name, your location, and in just a few sentences, tell your pod, if you will, just a little bit about what you wrote down. We will call you back from your breakout, so don't worry about that. It's a relatively simple process. You'll be invited to a breakout, you'll enter into that, and then very shortly, we will invite you back from that. We're going to take between 6 and 8 minutes here for this breakout, and as I said, we will be back with you shortly. And then the team is also going to put this prompt into the breakout room specifically, so don't worry if you lost that. Feel free to jump over to the breakout, and we'll see you in just a minute. All right, how's that? Are we all back up? We should see the breakout screen.
Yes, you look terrific.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jen. All right, rolling along. I let my breakout know that I'm going to have you out of here by 1 o'clock at the latest, and so I'm going to move through the next few slides to make sure that we work to that hour. Thank you all for joining again today. Next slide is around what themes did you hear? So if you don't mind, just contribute in any way you can. You can raise your hand if you feel that way. Come off mute. Let me know a few things of themes that you heard in your breakouts.
Never give up.
Never give up. Thank you.
Incredible courage.
Nice. Thank you.
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
Working
Things
through
will get better.
Things will get better. Working through
Be
Adversity.
flexible. It was a choice.
adversity.
Working through grief.
Know your worth
Very
and
nice.
don't settle for less.
Believing in oneself.
We never know what we're capable of until we're challenged.
We have experience with past situations and have been resilient and can be again.
Awesome.
repurposing yourself.
Nice.
Life is a series of resilient occurrences.
I like that. Take one more.
Taking risks.
Taking risks to build resilience. Very good. Thank you all again. Great energy. I love that we took less than 10 minutes to reconnect, hopefully with some folks that you'd never met. I certainly met folks that I'd not yet met, one of which is a neighbor and another in Ghana, which I love that. So moving on to our next slide, just a real quick kind of friendly reminder. And Jen, if you don't mind, or yep, professional, just a quick reminder of a concept called the sphere of influence, sphere of control model, if you will, loosely. With the current challenges and stresses in today's world, it's important to focus on what we can control. And this model helps really facilitate that, at least for me, that mental image, and I hope the same is true for you. There's the sphere of control. That's where we sit. There's the sphere of things that we can influence. And then along the outer edge of that circle is everything else. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's a lot about the world today that's also actually very hard for us to influence. There are certain regulations and things that we need to abide by, and then other things that are just simply out of our control. So my hope is that we can stay focused there, take a deep breath every now and again, and really kind of just focus on what we have control over. Last but not least, given your experience today, please take a moment to think about what you will commit to trying to build your resilience. Take a note of what you're committed to trying. So we're just going to take 5 quick seconds here to take a note down, maybe write it on a piece of paper or post-it that you can throw up on your screen. Take just one moment to do that. Very good. And we're going to move to the next screen. And we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you're committing to doing. Again, use the annotation feature that our colleagues have walked us through and you've so expertly demonstrated. I love the energy in the group. All right, we've got, remember I have a voice and value, stepping outside of what's familiar, self-care and compassion, taking a deep breath, trying to be my best self every day, give myself time to recover, believing my own skills, thinking positively, self-compassion, taking time to recover and rest, commitment to working out and exercising, stepping outside of what's familiar, never giving up, morning gratitude expression. There's so many of these things that I would love to hear more about. Taking swimming lessons, reaching out to friends, creating positive attitude, identify resilience you see in others and let them know. What a great compliment, what great feedback to provide to those around you. Making sure I have the tools I need, being open-minded, remaining calm, pushing through, get some exercise every day. Practice self-care, being more flexible, being grateful. We have a heart next to identify resilience you see in others and let them know. Patience, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Trying to be more productive, but if not being down about it. Great. So just pivoting the emotion, right? Choosing how to respond. Very good. All right. Thank you all so much. AU team, if you don't mind screenshotting that, so we have that as a takeaway, so to speak. Great energy all across the board. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time and your participation today. I'd love to give you just a few minutes back if you'd like, and I'm also going to stay on the line for any questions and answers that any of you might have. We have a little bit of extra time, all the way up until technically 1:30 if you'd like. Happy to chat with you. And last but not least, I'd like to leave you with a quote. So we're going to go ahead and clear that board. And the final quote I'll leave you with is that we have survived as a species for over 1,000 years. What's amazing to me as an archaeologist is the more and more I study, the more I realize we are resilient, we are creative, we are brilliant. And this is what makes us human. And that has not changed since we've been human. That's by Sarah Parkick, an archaeologist. With that, I want to thank you all again sincerely for your time and your energy and your contributions today. As I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to stay on the line. I'm happy to answer them and chat with you. Otherwise, have a great day and take good care of yourself.
We also have a request for what are some favorite tools for building resilience? What are some of your favorite tools for building resilience?
Interesting. I really think about it from the 4 dimensions that I've mentioned. And again, those come from the Human Performance Institute. It's not an uncommon model, but that's where I first saw it. And for me, the tool is really the image. It's a pyramid, if you will. It's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. And that creates a pyramid, with the idea being that the physical is really the foundation of the next 3. And that really struck a chord with me. And again, I think part of that for me personally is because it was tied to an athletic background. When I got the notion that if I can get my physical self aligned, and that means not just physical from working out and taking care of my body, that is all very much part of it. It's also nutrition, what I'm putting into my body, and then also how I'm recovering. Am I resting? Am I stretching? When my back is tired, do I go into child's pose or do I push through and try to do something harder? It's really paying attention to that balance. So that's one tool that I would offer. Breathing techniques are another tool. Simply taking a deep breath and then exhaling all of that air out of my body. I don't think I took a real deep breath until I was 30. And that makes a big difference. So I hope those are a couple of useful tools. If you have more questions, let me just flip my screen back. The email address there below my name, feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to send more resources and connect with you, completely open to that. And I also know that American University has additional resources that they might be able to provide. So just feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger.
So Angela, we are receiving a lot of nice comments in the chat box. We
nice.
have that, let's see, keep a sense of humor, laughter is important, keep laughing. We have a lot of thank yous, a lot of thank yous, great session. Thanks to you and AU. Thank you for this wonderful interactive webinar. Thank you, one of the best webinars that I've participated in. Love the interaction. A lot of thank yous, thank yous.
Awesome, thank you. And I do love the humor piece too. That's so important. Particularly, it's interesting too that just jogged for me in grief. Is grief can feel so heavy sometimes, and allowing ourselves to laugh. I don't know if I can call that a tool as much as a practice in some capacity, but I think that's pretty powerful. So thank you to whoever shared that, if you're still on.
We have, thank you, awesome presentation, awesome session, energetic, and that's from one of our alumni, one of our key alumni.
Hey, thanks.
We have a request. Wade D requests if you can repeat the pyramid that you just shared.
Yes, absolutely. I use my hands to talk. There's a bit of Italian in me, but it's physical, mental, then emotional, and spiritual. Not indicating that there is any ranking, so to speak. And again, the way I connect to it is that the physical piece is foundational. If we're not taking care of ourselves in a way that fuels our body for the better, it really, and again, that's my experience. I can't say that that's the stance of Human Performance Institute, if you will. It's simply how I come to it. So I'll just go through it one more time, but it's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And again, there's an interplay between each of those levels in that pyramid that I really find interesting too, with regard to stress in one piece of the pyramid can be recovery in another. It can also be stress in 2 pieces of the pyramid and recovery in 2 other pieces, if you will. It's a lot of fun to think through.
Thank you. And Ebony Young, she also asks, what are some leadership tools we can use to build resilient teams?
Oh, build resilient teams. Take what you learned today and take it to them. I think to the extent that we can continue to learn, building a resilient team. I also think from a tools perspective, feedback. That's a whole nother hour, if not a couple days, but learning to deliver feedback that can be heard. And if I had to distill that down to a tool, for me, what's coming kind of to the forefront of my mind is really around the difference between intention and impact. So be clear in your intention when you're delivering feedback, and then check what the impact is on the person that you're talking to. If we're very clear in our intention, if we approach someone from the perspective of, hey, listen, we are part of a team. I want our team to succeed. I've noticed something that I think might be getting in your way or in our way as a team, and I'd love to have a conversation about it. That approach, I think, can be a useful tool in building resilient teams, because that's also a form, if you will, loosely speaking, of stress and recovery. If you think about it, I think it's very much aligned. Does that help, Ebony?
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Sure, Ebony. Thanks so much for the question. Appreciate you joining.
I think that's it, Angela.
All right. Cool.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Take good care.